Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to some more Rune Factory 2. Gosh, there is so much to talk about, but so little I actually want to say. Phew. For starters, I'm not going out of town this weekend, even though I'd already told people in my weekend groups that I would be and already cancelled the pony scheme because I thought I would be going out of town. Turns out I'm not because there was a bit of miscommunication and reasons, and frankly, overall, not worth it with the information that I now have available to me. So, which means I will not be binging recording sessions. Maybe I should. Maybe I should still just record more anyway. I don't know. This is my first video actually recording in 2 days. It really should record more, but yesterday I was just in a sour mood from that news, and today I'm a bit of a sour mood because, frankly, people play a children's card. Okay, maybe I should stop referring to Magic the Gathering as a children's card game, but come on, face it, it's a children's card game. Well, it's an all ages card game, strictly speaking. But it's a card game that people are playing for fun and really not having fun with. Like, yeah, random stranger was all it's like, oh yes. I've gotten a bit annoyed by the fact that there's just so many guys around. It'd be nice to play with another girl. And as far as I'm aware, it was a girl saying this. It wasn't some guy who was trying to, you know. Uh, and so, invite me in to play a game with some other randoms, or at least they seem to be randoms to me. Um, so, got to playing, blah, blah, blah. Things were going okay. I didn't have any creatures out. People wanted to do attacks, so they're attacking me. One guy was just mumbling everything, so I could hear, like, maybe half of what he said. And he wasn't really, like, paying attention to the game, just kind of like, well, he had his head in his hands and was mumbling to himself, thinking that that was going to be a good time. And I know how bad it is just to try to tell people, hey, speak up so I can hear you. Even if you want to say that, it's rude form to say that. So, I didn't say that. I happened to get lucky on turn 5 and basically draw 2 specific cards. I think one was in my hand, but I drew the other card that got me, like, potentially a game-winning combo with even just a little bit of luck. First card is Dream Halls. Any player, when casting a spell, may, instead of paying the mana cost for the spell, instead discard a card that shares a color with that spell. So if you want to play, like, say, a 7 mana blue spell, you can just discard a blue card and you don't have to pay any mana at all. It's a pretty nice card, especially in my, Progenitus Voltron deck. I can discard any colored card from my hand. Not color identity, just specifically one that. Any colored card. That sounds bad. Any card with a color from my hand. So basically, not my lands or my artifacts. Basically. And then I can just cast Progenitus without paying its 10 mana cost. But I can also cast other cards as well by discard some of my cheaper cards, get some bigger cards. I put that out, and the Mumbles guy just started mumbling more, grumbling, basically, oh yeah, of course you have that, now you're just going to win, it's like turn 4. It's like, do you wish to talk about this like an adult person? Or are you just going to keep mumbling to yourself? Like, it felt like I was, like, in grade, like, 3 or 4, trying to play a game with my classmates, and one person was just like, I don't want to play if I'm not going to win. Like, almost expecting, like, the teacher to come along and be all like, now, Simon, Joseph, Caroline, whatever, whomever, I guess would be a nice way to say that. Hey, it's like, I think you need some alone time so you can cool your emotions. Like, no joke, I was expecting something like that to happen. Uh, but of course, that card isn't, Dream Halls isn't the end all be all. Sure, it gets my commander out cheap, gets some other cards out cheap, but only works if I have cards to play. However, on the turn that I played Dream Halls, I also drew, I think it's called Song of Creation, a 4-mana card with 3 different colors in it. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. You can play an extra land each turn. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. So, cast the Dream Halls, discarded a card to cast Song of Creation, discarded a card to cast Progenitus, draw 2 cards. I held up 1 mana to cast a specific 1 mana card in my hand, so I could draw 2 more cards. And then, that's 4 cards. Notably, I got slightly unlucky. 2 of those cards I drew were lands that enter tapped. The other 2 were... It's like, if that had been it, like, that probably would have been... Like, the guy was already complaining anyway. Like... And so it's like, it's a 5-color deck. The odds that the remaining 2 cards are, both share a color and that one of them would be worth playing are particularly low. And, like, if I just ended it there and just said, okay, that's it, pass turn, discard my card. That's the thing, I couldn't have just discarded the cards and people would know, hey, why didn't you play that card? Well, no, they weren't, because nobody was paying attention to anything, so they didn't. All anyone was doing was complaining, oh, Dream Halls, you said this was like a mid-power deck. It's like, Dream Halls alone does not win the game. Dream Halls and Song of Creation go a long way to helping to win, but they also don't win the game. If I cast a spell, I draw 2 cards, and then I have to, draw 2 cards that share a color in order to cast another spell to draw another 2 cards. Like, if I don't go off that turn, next turn I draw a land, okay, I'm screwed. Like, I can't cast anything, so I can't draw anything. So I can't play anything, so I just have my field to work with. But nobody cares about that. But I happen to draw, like, some green spell, whatever, I think. And... It's one of the ultimatum cards, but I forget which one it is. It is search your deck for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names. Reveal them. An opponent chooses one to shuffle back into your library. He may cast the other 2 for free. A card that can very often win games by itself. In this deck, this deck with Progenitus out, theoretically it could. I chose, a thing that would make the Progenitus indestructible, a thing that would make the Progenitus lethal, well, mostly lethal, double strike, and lifelink. Progenitus is a 10 mana 10/10 with protection from everything. So, yeah, give it double strike, it hits for 20. I still need to put an extra 1 damage on there to actually kill someone with lethal commander damage, but they didn't really care about that. 20, 21, same number to them. Is a bit of a difference. I have hit someone for 20 commander damage before, then they just went, oh, my turn? Cool, I'll kill you. But anyway, they didn't care. They were just complaining the entire time. Anyway, so I figured, okay, might as well just play. I didn't grab, like, the best of the best of the best cards, because I could have, like, given it haste, and also try to find something, but no, whatever. And one of the cards I chose is a special type of wheel effect. 5 mana card. Each player may choose to discard their hand, and then if they do, they draw cards equal to the greatest mana value of a commander that they own either on the battlefield or in the command zone. So basically, I discard my hand, which was like just the 2 cards that I drew after casting the ultimatum. And I got to draw 10 cards, and they just was like, I guess you might as well have that. It's like, if you don't give this to me, my turn ends. Like, sure, it could have double strike, lifelink. Like, sure, it could be a lethal threat, and can survive 1 board wipe, potentially. Well, probably, actually. It can probably survive 1 board wipe. there's lots of XL creature board wipes out now, but they were played for a while. They don't seem to be played as much anymore, which is weird. People don't like board wipes as much. Whatever. Anyway, it's like you could have just let me have the lethal commander and convinced me to attack someone else so you could try to have a few turns, but no, and not let me get 10 new cards in my hand when I have Dream Halls and Song of Creation in play, but no, they just let me draw the 10, and then complained that my deck was too powerful. It's like, yo, you gave me 10 cards when I could cast stuff for free. The 10 cards, by the way, I think like 6 of them I couldn't use for Dream Halls. They're either colorless. Oh yeah, 6 were colorless. They're like artifacts or lands. I think so. Yeah, I could have peered into the abyss and like drawn half of my deck, and probably should have, and just let them complain, because like I said, as soon as they saw Dream Halls, they're like, oh, meh, 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 meh. It's like, yeah, pass a turn. They all have Dream Halls available to them, and they're like, I'll use Dream Halls, pitch this 7-drop to play a 1-drop. It's like, you know, you can usually let the other way around. It's like, shut up, I'm doing my thing. Meh, meh, meh. It's like, let me just block all of you. I don't want to have to deal with any of them ever again. It's like, oh, and then people will say, oh yeah, well, you did bring a super strong deck. It's like, one, the deck is not strong. It's like, oh, well, you shouldn't put Dream Halls in a deck and call it, like, low to mid. People have flat out told me that because I run Dream Halls in a deck that cannot guaranteed combo off and win with it the turn I play it, it's a low power deck. Like, a lot more people have told me that my deck is low powered because of Dream Halls than have said that my deck is high powered because of Dream Halls. Because I cannot guarantee a win with it on the turn I play it. And then the one guy was complaining, oh, well, you didn't mill your 2 cards when I hit you with my thing. It's like, oh, you didn't say for me to mill 2. Oh, yeah, I did, but you're too busy looking through your deck because you were casting a spell on someone else's turn. Oh, you're too busy looking through your deck because of that ultimatum card. Yeah, she was trying to, you know, resolve a spell during someone else's turn. It's like, no, I wasn't, but, you know, if I try to say anything, you're just going meh at me, so hold on, I'm just gonna, don't want to deal with it. What I was doing was searching for a land, because I had used an effect to search for a land put into play tapped, and I said, I'm just going to search for a land, and then I'm going to pass a turn so you can go on searching so you don't have to wait for me. And the guy was so ready to go, boom, boom, go, yeah. Well, I'm like, yeah, my turn, I'll attack you with the dog. I'm like, oh, really? It's like, well, you're the only one open, so I'm going to attack you with my dog. Look, it's only 2 damage. Like, yeah, I don't. It's like, I was trying to make a joke about it. I know you're attacking me with the dog. I'm taking the 2 damage. And then I'm going to blah, 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 and end the turn. And while I'm searching, I never heard him say, make sure to mill 2. When I finished my search and finished shuffling, he didn't say, oh, by the way, mill 2 for the dog. And it's like, sometimes there are cases when I'm talking to people, and they have an accent that is thick enough that I can't easily make out what they are saying. And those communication issues, while annoying, are understandable. It's not like I went through the effort to learn a language that they are more comfortable with speaking, so I could communicate with them on their terms. They learned a language that I'm more comfortable with speaking. Not for my own sake, but, you know, they did. So, you know, make an effort to try to understand what they're saying. This person was just mumbling everything. Mumble, grumble, toil, and trouble. And it's like, you can try talking better. You want someone to, you know, mill cards while they're searching their library? You can tell them when they're done, oh, by the way, mill 2 because of this. But people don't like doing that. It's like, oh, what? Now I also have to mill too? Why didn't you tell me that at the time? I would have milled too while I was searching some stupid stuff like that. And actually, if he had told me to mill too, I would have pretty sure, I think. I'm not 100%, but I think I would have milled the Song of Creation. And would have just, Dream Halls, here's my commander. Here's, you know, maybe some other thing. It's like, Dream Halls, here's my commander. Go. I mean, they would have complained about that anyway, so it doesn't actually matter, but whatever. See, I blocked all of them, and yeah, I don't play Commander games with the people I have blocked. I should really put notes on profiles and stuff of why I blocked them, but it's... Yeah, the guys complain, it's like, oh, now you can just one-shot someone, you can just one-shot someone, you can just kill someone, you can just one-shot someone, you can just kill someone. And I'm just like, okay, my turn. Like, go to turn, I will just kill you. And he's like, yeah, see, you're just gonna kill someone. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, of course I'm going to kill you. You are being so flippin' annoying about this. You're complaining about every single thing I do, and you're getting mad at me for missing your triggers. Like, yeah, I'm going to kill you, and hopefully you can, you know, stop. And then both the other players just left, so I mean, Progenitus killed 3 players with 1 swing, which is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, that is canon. Progenitus killed 3 people with 1 swing. I blocked them, so now I never, ever, ever have to deal with any of them ever again. If they want to report me to a mod, oh well. I mean, the guy was saying that I won on, like, turn 4. I was like, no, that was turn 6 due to weird circumstances. And I mean, yeah, the whole argument of, oh, if X card is in your deck, it's not really mid-power anymore. It's like, that makes me just want to build my power level 0 deck even more. The whole idea of a deck that can never actually win a game under its own power, no creatures with power 1 or greater unless they also have Defender, or somehow otherwise, you know, can't actually hurt players, like, nothing that makes other people, you know, lose life, no, you win the game, or, and no other people lose the game effects, like, but it has super powerful cards. Jewel Lotus, Cyclonic Rift, Dream Halls. I mean, heck, if I got infinite mana and cast, you know, Cyclonic Rift 1 billion times, that doesn't win me the game. The closest it could get to winning me the game is if I could somehow Cyclonic Rift everyone's things constantly, and then they just deck out because they draw too many cards. And none of them had, like, an ETB to, like, stop that. An ETB, an instant, or a sorcery to stop anything. Like, yeah, no mill effects, so they don't deck out faster. They have their 90-some turns, unless they choose to allow themselves to draw extra cards, but that's on them. Oh. Yeah, the deck cannot actually win on its own. And then people, it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're going to win, and then, of course, I don't win. Yeah, I wonder how many games I could play with it before I actually do win, because people are just like, oh, you played, you know, Dream Halls into, like, Omniscience. Like, yeah, you played Omniscience, I'm just gonna scoop, and then everybody just scoops. It's like, just give the game over. Okay. I mean, people want to hand over the game. Who am I to say no to them? I guess. Whatever. Whatever, guys. Honestly, I should just stop with the whole Magic stuff. Like, I don't have fun with it. Most of the games I play, I don't have fun with because people are so annoying about everything. It's either, oh, your deck is way too oppressive for us, or people who say they're playing mid/low mid, like, turn 3, turn 4, massive, oppressive, void state, counterspell everything that you have. go win game. Like, I played that exact same Progenitors deck, like, earlier today. I think the game before. Yeah, I played just the game before. That's why I played it for the second game. With different people, and I lost on turn 5 because someone had like mono red burn, and they had like whenever an opponent taps a non-basic land, they take damage. For every artifact they control, they take damage on their upkeep, and now double all of that damage. And even if I had, I think I even did have Song of Creation. Even if I had had Dream Halls and Song of Creation, I still would have, like, died before turn 6. Like, and that was supposed to be a, like, same power level game because power level doesn't exist. You can't just put all the cards into, like, a calculator and have it spit out a power level. I think, I want to say Gather, no. PCG, no. There was a deck building website that tried to do that, where people could just put in, they have their deck list, whatever, brew their deck, then a thing would tell them, like, what the power level of the deck was. And people are like, oh, this one's like a 63%. It's like, oh, mine's only like a 42%, whatever. And until someone, not so much hacked it in the way that people would think about hacking, but hacked it in the, oh, I figured out how it works way. Where they built a commander deck that was said to be 100% competitive. And the deck was, like, garbage. We have Mystic Study and Mystic Remorse and Cyclonic Rifts. It was basically the power level 0 deck, yes. It's like, yeah, look at all of these awesome cards that have, like, no cohesion and, like, don't actually make for a good deck because it doesn't have like a solid game plan. It's just, like 5-color good stuff, but the stuff isn't that good. Speaking of new commander decks and just playing the game for the purpose of being the villain, Ponies Galloping 2 Secret Lair is shipping. Should be out. I should be able to get my hands on it soon. I have ordered it, for the record. I've ordered 2 of it. Foil and non-foil, of course. Oh my gosh, my head is just so floaty right now. Oh. Anyway. The bonus card for it is Discord. The first Ponies Galloping didn't have a bonus card because that was just before Secret Layers started up. So they didn't have bonus cards yet, but this one does. I wish that they would just include the bonus card in with it, because it seems like every time I've gone a Secret Layer, the bonus card was like some random common. I think I got the same card twice, actually. I've ordered like 2 Secret Layers. I think I got literally the same random card twice. So, like, if this Discord is just a, oh, well, maybe you'll get it, then burn Wizards of the Coast to the ground. I said that in a weird voice, so if anyone tries to take that as an audio clip to try to say bad stuff about me, everyone will notice, hey, that sounds kind of weird. What's with that inflection? No, they won't actually notice, because of course not. Whatever. Discord, Lord of Disharmony. 4 mana, 3/5 in Rakdos. Legendary creature, Chimera. Chimera's a very underutilized creature type. Lying. And whatever you think its main ability is, you're wrong. At the beginning of your end step, choose a random, non-land magic card name. Until your next end step, you may cast a copy of a spell with that name, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. If you cast a spell this way, copy this ability if Discord is on the battlefield. So you go to your end step, find some random card selector to choose a random non-land magic card name. Alright, sure. There are things that you can do that. Okay. Until your next end step, you may cast a copy of a spell with that name. That's the most officially problematic part of it. Because Magic the Gathering has a little thing of where cards are cast from. So it might be an effect that triggers like whenever you cast a spell from your hand, or whenever you cast a spell from exile, or whenever you copy a spell that's like on the stack. But you are making a copy of some card out in like the void somewhere, and then you're casting the copy from like the void. So you can't do any of the like, oh, when you cast, like you can cast spells from your hand for free with like omniscience. Not that you can put it in the Discord deck anyway, but whatever. Oh, it's like whenever you cast a spell from exile, make a treasure. It's like, no, it's just cast from the void. So yeah, I started building a deck around it, got maybe halfway-ish or so, and then again was invited to that game, and then right after that game I then played another game where I wound up winning, and people seemed rather bitter again. This was supposed to be high power. No, I didn't play Progenitus again. This is supposed to be power level 7, which is generally high power, but every deck is a 7 because that's a meme in the EDH community, that every single commander deck is quote-unquote a 7 because nobody actually understands how power levels work. And nobody wants to try to understand it, so they just say the deck is a 7 and get angry at other people for having a different concept of 7. One person scooped while I was mid-attack on him, making it so I didn't get some of my triggers that I was going to get because I couldn't deal combat damage to him because he kept a 2-land opening hand with like 2 lands, an artifact that does nothing for him in the short term, and that was it. Like nothing else he could play, and did not draw extra lands, and so decided that the best course of action would be to leave the game. And yeah, person was playing like mono white angels, and I really thought they were going to probably going to win. Other person was playing, was it Davros? Pretty cool deck, seemed pretty cool. All based around dealing 3 damage to all of your opponents, so he was also put out by the one player deciding to scoop. Deal 3 damage to all of your opponents, so you can get... Good thing you ran away. Yeah, deal 3 damage to all of your opponents during your turn, so at your end step you get the trigger for having... Your opponents have lost... Your opponents having had lost 3 life this turn. Words are difficult. It seemed pretty cool. It seemed fine. All well and good. Slowly losing life while trying to figure out how to, you know, stop it and all that. It seemed fine, seemed fair enough. Whatever. Eventually, you know, that player and myself were both low on life. Angel player had a nice, decent board state, over 40 life because they were gaining life and drawing extra cards and all that, and then I just went in and got the win. The Davros player enabled me to sacrifice enough of my wolf tokens so my planeswalker could, so my Garuk planeswalker could ultimate and pump my whole board. I got lucky with my attractions and got a Hall of Mirrors out, so I could have all of my creatures become a copy of my 4/4. And there were 9. I had 9 creatures total. So I had like 9 trampling 7/7s. That's what, 63 damage right there? Yeah. One person had about 4 tough. The Angel player had about 4 toughness worth of blockers, and the Davos player had like 7 life. I think the other 3 or 6 toughness worth of blockers, I'm not sure. But it's like, yeah. So it's like, I can just swing for the win. What I was going to do was play like a different card and get the win. I also had like a ton of mana. Top deck exiled Triumph of the what? No. whatever, a X spell that I had enough mana to just pay an X into and just win with that. Like, I think there's a fourth thing as well. Oh yeah, a fourth thing, which was if I kill the player, because my thought was put out the artifact in my hand that if I basically hit someone with 9 creatures, they die. Attack them with, well, if I attack them with 10 creatures, blah blah, puts a counter on itself, so 9 creatures. Attack them with 10 creatures, because I had a lot of tokens before the Davos player removed, like, 4. They attack the angel player with enough that 9 would still get through and still kill them. They give me back my cards that they had exiled under one of their creatures, so they go back to my hand, including the Hippotra, but more importantly, the Obelisk Spider. And then I had a card in my hand that when it enters, puts a minus counter on every creature. I have at least 10 creatures. Even after this, I could probably still have like 10. Obelisk Spider, whenever I put one or more minus counters on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life, and I gain 1 life. That's for each creature that gets a counter this way. So at least 10 creatures would have, you know, gotten counters on them. Davos players at 7. Yeah. So I had like 4 wins ready for me at one turn. These people didn't really, other than the person who got mana screwed, the others didn't complain. But they also want, like, the energy was so dastardly low. As the game was starting, one of them had asked, well, in general, it's like, hey everyone, what's up? And I'd said, it's like, blah blah blah, game put people said deck too high powered, blah blah blah, you know. Yeah, that's what was up. So I said, and then someone, might have been the same person, might have been someone else, immediately said, oh yeah, don't bring your salt to other games. Yeah, you're not allowed to, like, complain, basically. It's like, yeah, I go on YouTube and do recording and complain here instead. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my microphone and it looked like it was off. The, like, speaker part of the microphone, like, changes colors, which is neat. Don't know how to program it to change, but, you know, whatever, it's fine. And it was, like, it has, like, gradient, whatever. It's, like, just dark colors on it. Yeah, it's just, like, 2 dark colors on it. And so I thought it was just, you know, the gray that it normally is when it's off. Whatever. I don't really care about that. It is one of the 1,000 little things that happen. Anyway, yes, Discord card. Building a deck around it. My overall idea with it is a whole bunch of ramp and a whole bunch of stuff that makes spells cost less, and a few things that, like, trigger off of casting stuff. And the rest, I guess, just general chaos effects that aren't super annoying to resolve in webcam games. I was talking about it in one of the Discords, and someone was all like, oh, how about, like, this so-and-so card? It's like, yeah, that is a good chaos card. But that card is so annoying to resolve in webcam. Like, something about, like, exchanging controls of all cards of everybody. It's like, you know how hard, you know how annoying that card is to do? Yeah, Discord, just, you know, random magic card. So, what's the power level of the deck? I don't heckin' know. What's the power level of the deck? Well, I think it's good. Yeah, it's a 7. Yeah, thank you. What's the power level? It's a 7. And I've been wanting to build a deck around one of the My Little Pony characters for a bit now. I was thinking Fluttershy Voltron because I think there's something funny and ridiculous about that, but now, just Discord. Not even like Discord Voltron, Discord Mills, Discord whatever, something specific. Just Discord. Discord Chaos, sure. Discord Chaos, but not like the really annoying chaos effects. Discord, but like minor chaos. Like, chaos stuff, but it's actually just like I cast those spells that have like Cascade and like another keyword and don't do and nothing else. So like I don't know what I'm gonna get. Discord, but I'll exile cards from the top of your library, and I'll get to cast them later. Sort of thing. Discord chaos, but not necessarily super annoying chaos. Even though, with some people, oh my gosh, you exiled a card off the top of my library, so now I can't ever play it? How dare you? That is the worst crime that you could ever possibly do. And if you think people wouldn't ever respond like that, someone was complaining about being milled for a few... being milled earlier today. Like it was the end of the world. Not milled out to death, but that they milled a few cards, and they were good cards, and they had no way of utilizing their graveyard. Like, what is this, 2013 EDH? That, oh gosh, old school EDH, gosh. There was so many decks. It was, like, common for decks to be like, hey, if you put one of my cards in the graveyard, I will never, ever, ever be able to get it back. That's just, like, the default. And that's kind of why I took to Elixir of Immortality as, like, a pet card. Because, like, hey, if you put one of my cards in the graveyard and I kind of want it, I can use the Elixir and eventually get it back. I know there are much better ways to do it, but Elixir of Immortality is the best to get back. Like, any and every cards. I'm sure the... Elixir of Immortality is, or at least was, the best card to get back any cards that were in the graveyard. That itself is also a reusable card, because it shuffles itself back into your deck. That can go in any commander deck. So anyway, oh hey, and lots of XPs, huh? So yeah, but I think instead of paying the couple $100 of making like a Discord commander deck, maybe not, maybe I'll buy some cheap cards. Instead I bought printer paper, but not just like paper, but like sticker paper that's supposed to be able to work in like pretty much all printers, so we'll see about that. And I'll just, sticker printer the cards out, stick them onto the cards, cut them out, probably sleeve it up, and then just play like that. And if people complain, wow, you're using proxies, I'll just go, okay, give me $200 so I can buy these cards. Actually, since I'm... oh god. People will complain, it's like, wow, you're using a mana crypt. It's like, yeah, because I might get like an 8 mana vanilla 6/6. Like, I don't know what kinds of cards I'll get. Might invest in... I don't know. What's a nice, like, reusable way to represent every Magic card? I'm thinking just... now, there's a person that makes, like, dry erase tokens. Infinite tokens. Obligatory, not a sponsor. Never actually used them myself, so I don't know how good they are, but everyone says they're amazing. Maybe I'll buy... I don't know. A pack of 20 or so? Yeah, instead of buying the actual cards, I'll buy things to use as tokens. I mean, yeah, if I just get like an instant or sorcery out of it, that's not going to really matter long term. It's just the permanents that are going to stick in play. And since I'm, casting a copy of a spell, it will enter the battlefield as a token. However, stuff that triggers upon making a token won't trigger. That was a ruling that had to be implemented a few years ago because of stuff, I think it was like Volo. It can make a token copy of a spell on the stack, and people, of course, obviously, I'm not trying to downgrade anyone, obviously, people had to be told, hey, this doesn't count as you making a token, so your doubling season doesn't work with it. But Twinning Staff does, because you are, copying a spell on the stack. However, Twinning Staff doesn't work for Discord, on a default level at least, because I might be copying a card, but I'm not copying a spell, unless I again use Twinning Staff to specifically copy the spell, but that's an extra 7 mana and a tap to do that, so probably won't do that. Just getting lots of mana just to Discord all over the place. Use Discord, grab new random card, use Discord again. And at least with, like, Discord, people could read it and be all like, oh yes, that sounds like the kind of game that I want to do. I am interested in playing a deck where a person is using this as one of their main cards. It's like, oh, well, what? It's like, sometimes I want to play a specific deck, but if I just go into the LFG, even if I do, like, doesn't matter if I put it, like, before the LFG LFG block or after it, because people will often just not read it. I say, hey, I want to play, like, super ultra, like, I want to play, like, a rather low power game. Like, I made this deck as, like, a joke. It's weak. It's, like, below precon level. Like, want to play, like, really low power level game. And people are like, cool, my deck's a 7. It's like, yeah, there'll be, like, one person is like, okay, I think I'll do that. 2 other people just join in because they see, oh, an LFG. LFG, click, join, join, join. Get into it, and it's like, yeah, I want to play this. It's like really low power game. Oh, I don't have any low power decks. Which I really need to want to, like, stick to my grounds better and just be all like, oh, okay. Leave the voice chat, LFG. Hey, looking for a low power game. Do. I don't know. Let's just play more Tevi again. I need to get another game on the roster, another actually interesting game. But I also want to actually, like, play through and beat Tevi, just for the sake of beating it. Ow. EDH is meant to be the format of, yeah, play that weird card. It's like, oh yeah, that, yeah, that weird, like, overcosted creature that does something that, like, creatures don't really tend to do. Sure, like, I remember I built a deck once that was, like, mono black -1/-1 counters. Yeah, just minus counter theme. That was the deck, just dealing with minus counters, and then I saw Hapatra and kind of changed the deck to just be a Hapatra deck, and that deck was the first ever commander deck that I made, with, like, the original purpose of building the deck in the first place was to be a commander deck. I had 2 decks before then, my colorless deck and my mono blue deck, but both of them were was it? Yeah, I made both of them as like just casual, I don't know what I'm doing decks that then became Commander decks. Like, once I learned about Commander, whereas the Marissa deck, the Patra deck, the Golgari deck, was made, yeah, with being a Commander deck in mind. But anyway, yeah, make a Discord deck, maybe use stickers, whatever. I got that little mini sticker printer thing a little bit back, but it only prints in black and white, and it can't actually print cards, like, print to card size. It's a little bit too small for that, which is super annoying, and also if I use that for all of the random cards, then that would just be a lot of extra paper that I'd be going through, really. Who knows, maybe I should just do it anyway. It's like small though. If I try to print it off, if I try to print off card art, it's like a third of the size of a card, which honestly might be for the best. So you know what? Maybe I'll just use this printer for the extra Discord cards. Just have my printer just sitting there, just have some scissors, just snip, or no, just rip it off. Like, okay, here's this card. After the game, throw all the paper away. Oh, that's probably just the dry erase tokens or something. I think just dry erase. Or buy a copy of every single card that exists in Magic the Gathering. So I can just pull out the card for whatever. Okay.